Do you see this kind of like as a big opportunity for you with Milan and also Sue and Ball?
Oh yeah, definitely. But it's always a big opportunity. Coming out here trying to get better every day, and when you get the opportunity on Sundays, you got to take advantage of it.
It's your third year now, I believe. How do you feel? Building. What are you building on?
Oh yeah, I'm feeling good. Doing a lot more extra recovery stuff, make sure my body is feeling right. And like I said, just coming out here trying to take advantage of the opportunities that I get and be productive.
Bill, what are you doing to build upon last season? You had a great second half of the season, came on strong at the end. What are you looking to do to build upon that?
Just polishing up releases off blocks, pass rush. You always can get better at that. And pad level, getting off the ball. The small nuances to just keep building on, just try to keep getting better every day.
How much has the game slowed down for you now that you do have that experience and you're kind of seeing what the NFL is about?
Oh, it definitely has slowed down. It definitely has slowed down, knowing exactly what I'm supposed to do. Got the playbook in, and, I can play with my alignments and things like that, but still make sure I'm doing my job at the same time. So it just helps out. It takes a lot of pressure off when you know what you're doing out there.
The young guys on the line, you, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, what are you seeing from all you guys?
Oh, man, hey, they're coming in, they're working, and they look like they're ready to go. Like I said, we got deep room. Everybody going to be fighting, but it's going to help us in the long run, like I said, keeping everybody fresh, everybody going out there giving 110. So the other team's going to feel it.
What do you think of Sean Desai? Any sort of your first impression?
Smart man. He know what he's doing. I think he's gonna be a little aggressive with us this year, as far as stunts and movements up front. I like that type of stuff, so I think it's gonna be a good fit.
With overall competition in that room, last couple of years adding the first round picks, young guys, you still have the veterans like Fletch, you added guys like Street. What's the competition just like in that room on a daily basis?
Hey, you better be on your toes every day coming out here and put your best foot forward, because, like I said, it's a fight for reps. And you got to show it out here so you can get those opportunities and make sure that you're going all out so they know what they're getting.
What do you like so much about the stunt game?
That's just part of my game. I can be the ability to use my quickness and catch linemen off guard. They used to us just going boom, boom, straight. And then you add a little twist game or movements up front, and, keep them on their toes a little bit.
Both of these guys have played in the league. They played in the NFL. So really it's just teaching the new terminology, teaching them maybe a couple things that I may do differently at the position that they haven't done, and just working. And they've both done a really good job so far leading up to where we're at today.
Maybe less about these guys specifically because they've been in the league, but for running backs in general, how much harder, how hard is it to evaluate a guy until it's live?
That's part of it. I always say you gotta have pads on, right? And you gotta have some contact, because there's a lot of things about our job that we have to do that's physical, whether it's picking up pass pro, whether it's running through a tackle, all that. So that's part of it. You can make some of an evaluation on a running back before we put the pads on, but you're not getting the true one until we get to bang heads a little bit.
Hey, Jemal, you obviously had a back with 250 plus carries last year. Do you anticipate that same type of workload for any of them this year?
To be honest, we never really anticipate what's gonna happen. We just got to be prepared for whatever we're needed for. And I think as a running back, that's what we have to do. We have to be ready. If it's, hey, we got to protect all game, and we got to be able to protect. If we got to run the ball, that's great. If we got to catch it, do those things. So it's really just being prepared any way, shape, or form. And if it happens that a guy gets that opportunity, he can take advantage of that. But we just got to be ready for any situation that can show up every week, every game.
When there is a rotation like that, how do you determine in which situations to use which back, and how do you determine the way the rotation goes?
Well, I think a lot of it comes down to the skill sets of the room, like who has the ability to do certain things. There's got to be a baseline for all of them that they're capable of doing, both run game, pass game, and protection game. But there's going to be guys that maybe have a little bit more ability in a certain area than the other guys, and what you really want to do is try and maximize a guy's opportunity for success and put them in situations that they can be successful. That's really the same for every position. It's like who's going to be in there, who's going to be those guys, and a guy that can do multiple things allows you to do a little bit more with them. A guy that's maybe more specific kind of gets him fit more of a role player. So kind of like I said, they've got to have a baseline that's pretty good. So any one of these guys can run the football, and I think that's part of it. So we can run the ball with any of them in there. And there's guys that have maybe a higher ability to run routes and more receiverish. So you can kind of blend it in that way to where guys are getting in and playing and not really showing our hand on what we're doing, because they've all got to be able to protect. They've all got to be able to run the football, and at some points they got to run routes as well.
As a running backs coach, what do you make of what's happened increasingly and very much so over this offseason about how they're being paid versus what they previously were paid versus the rest of the league?
Yeah, the game's changed a little bit, and the position has changed a little bit as well. But for us, it's always about, well, what can we control? And I think the most important thing for these guys is to do everything they possibly can to perform at a very high level and perform to their best of their ability. And me as a coach, it's my job to help these guys perform to the highest ability that they can. I mean, that's what you want to have. You want to have a good year and then maybe get rewarded for some of the stuff that you did. So it's different. I know the landscape has changed, but the two-back world and running it 30 times a game, it's just not what this game's about at this point. But
is it a conversation that's had in the room amongst these guys?
Oh, I mean, not really a conversation. I mean, just everybody knows, but we can't control it. I mean, there's one thing we talk about. Well, what's a back value? Well, the value's in the eye of the beholder, and that's who's going to decide individually what guys get paid, and that's really the same for every position group. So you got to just go out and put your best foot forward, and hopefully that's enough for you to get to live a pretty good life.
Jamal, what does Boston Scott bring in from a leadership standpoint, being the veteran, so to speak, in the room?
You know, I have a term I always use called old head. He's one of my old heads, and I think that's part of it. When you've kind of been in the system for a while, when you've been in the league for a while, there's some things that you've been through and you've learned, and he's just great when you look at Boston with helping the other guys, helping the new guys, having conversations with them on the sideline. It's awesome. I mean, just having him in our room is an opportunity for the guys to get better, and he's a big part of that.
Well, Kenny coming back off that sort of late season success, do you see a more confident player? Do you see a more comfortable guy?
I think that's with most players when they're going into the third year. You know, he's not a rookie anymore, and he's got some chance. And then we had extra games. So both years we've had some extra games that he's been able to play in, and it's obviously helping him get better to that point. But no, Kenny's doing a really good job and working as hard as he can, and that's just who he is. That's his MO.
Rashaad had mentioned that he feels the positive effects of losing some weight during the offseason. What do you say?
Definitely. I mean, I think it's something here that we do a pretty good job of. Our strength and conditioning staff, from our dietitian, nutritionist, everything, we were involved with each one of these players and coming up with plans for them to play at their best weight and their best way. And I think that's something that we've all been on. And I think he's felt that. He's felt like, hey, there's some love, to be honest, with him and getting him into a position, because we want to see him succeed and want him to play at the best way he possibly can. We feel kind of his weight may be a part of that. So we're excited for him. He said that. He's feeling better. He tells me all the time, I feel better, coach. I'm not used to feeling better. So hopefully it ends up being results on the field.
A couple of the guys have mentioned that they were surprised by his hands, because I guess there wasn't a lot of that on tape, right? So was that something that you were curious about, and what have you seen there?
A little bit. I mean, it's something that it wasn't what he was asked to do a whole lot at Seattle, so you don't see a whole lot of tape on it. But you can get a pretty quick feel of how a guy's hands are just when you're working through drills, and he's got hands enough to catch the ball at the backfield is what we ask our guys to do.
When you bring in veterans, who have a lot on tape, how much does that value, or how much do you factor that into your evaluation process, or is it all what you see from the time they get here?
No, it's a big part of it, but I also tell the guys, I really kind of don't care what's happened in the past, but I care a lot about what's going to happen from here forward. So you're using that, and for me, it's as much as, okay, let me evaluate it. Let me see, how can I help this player get better? What are some of the things that I can help him improve on, just my coaching style, techniques that I may coach to help him get better, and how can I help maybe some of his strengths get a little bit stronger? So that's a huge part of what we do, is that evaluation piece. But then there's also guys do change from year in, year out. They get smarter. They do some different things. So what they've done in the past is good for me to use, but it's all about what he does moving forward as well.
What's the next step in DeAndre's development?
We'll have to see. I mean, it's been a while for us where he played us in the first game, and you look at him when he ran the ball and doing all that, I see it's good. It's like anything. I think the big piece for us is, are you available? And that's a durability piece of the running back position that is huge, and you got to test it. We've done a pretty good job here with our backs being durable. I mean, I think last year was a really good job. Guys played the whole season. We didn't lose many downtime to injuries, and that's a part of coaching and a part of practice structure. There's a big part of that. So it's a big piece of it, and just seeing that he can go and handle what we throw at him.
You guys had the fewest pass attempts to running backs in the league last year. I know it's a function of the entire offense, but that's something Swift does well. Is that an area where he can especially help his offense?
He definitely can. I mean, but at the end of the day, it's going to be him performing what he's asked to do, whether he's asked to run the ball, whether he's asked to catch it. And again, it's a good problem to have when you're trying to spread the ball around because you've got some athletes there. And it's going to be game in and game out. There's just going to be certain matchups that show up in each game that maybe makes you lean a little bit more in this direction, make you lean on that direction. But, I thought we did a pretty good job as a team last year, just, doing what we needed to do.
What do you remember about when they came to you about the possibility of DeAndre and what your evaluation was? Anything about that?
Yeah. So it's kind of like I said earlier. It's just I've had a chance to evaluate everybody that's in my room except Boston. Boston, my old head, is the only guy that I didn't evaluate coming out of college and all that stuff. Where these guys I have, and I was very high on DeAndre. And it's really all the guys in the room. I've had a hand in kind of looking at them, evaluating whether it being at their pro day. Same thing with Rashaad Penny. It was the same deal. I've actually sat at his school and we had a one-on-one meeting with him when he was coming out of college. And so we saw Swift, and like I said, my evaluation of him was high when he came out of college. It really kind of stayed at that level with some of the things that he was able to do in the NFL. So just excited. Another piece that Howie added to the room that I was excited to work with.
After Detroit took the running back in the first round, did they say, hey, quickly watch some film on
we kind of, there's scenarios that play out and you kind of know, and it doesn't take you long, especially when you're looking at a lot of that film, and you have a tendency to kind of follow guys throughout the year no matter what. A guy come out, I like that guy when he came out, and so game's on, or you see some crossover film and you see it. So it doesn't take much. You go back and just quickly look at a few things, but I mean, we were excited for him. Our evaluation of him was good. He'd obviously been evaluated by our scout personnel here, so we were good. We got an opportunity to get another back that's got some skills.
What's distinctive about Brian Johnson as an offensive coordinator? What's distinctive about Brian Johnson as an offensive coordinator?
Oh, it's a little different for me with Brian Johnson. We kind of go back a little bit. So I played at the Air Force Academy and coached there for a lot of years. Utah was in the division at that time, so I got to see him as a player, when I was coaching and watched that. So that part was kind of cool, and just seeing his career. And then his first year here, we worked together on the protection plan. So we were in the room together, locked on. So I've had a chance to work with him. Great guy. I think it was one of those, and I'll say it, sitting in that meeting, I remember thinking, oh man, this guy might not be here long. Just how sharp he was and how smart he was, and just his background of the game, and how many he's been calling plays for as long as a lot of guys in the league have ever called plays. So he's just a great guy. Good ball. He connects with the players. I mean, you talk about a guy that can walk into the receiver room and connect with them. Sitting in on an offensive line meeting and connect with them, and he just does a great job of connecting that, not only with the players but with the staff as well. So I'm excited for him, just kind of seeing him get his chance to do some things, and excited to work with him.
That meeting, when you thought that was his first year here?
First year here.
I'd just like to start off. I'd like to say that I'm very appreciative of my teammates, my coaches, this organization. The process that I've went through has not been easy. It's been very daunting for myself, but more important than my family, I'm glad that throughout the process I was able to clear my name. I'm glad that my family was able to move on from this. I'm glad that I'm able to move on from this, and I'm looking forward to the future. So I guess in short, I'm just very appreciative of the process that has taken place to clear my name. I'm also very appreciative of my teammates, my coaches, and this organization.
How I don't know, frightening or nerve-wracking was it to go through what you went through with the trial and everything?
Like I said, it was a process, but I'm glad that I was able to clear my name in that process, get through that process. I had a lot of great support behind me, but I'm looking forward to putting that in the past and looking forward to tomorrow and moving on.
Josh, how did your teammates handle it when you came back to the facility, and how did everybody react to you being back?
Everybody welcomed me with open arms, and that's a testament to all of them of who they are as not only teammates but who they are as as a person. And I'm very thankful for them. I'm very thankful for their support.
Had you been in contact with some teammates throughout the last 6 months?
I had, but like I said, I'm glad that the process happened the way it did, and I'm looking forward to putting that behind me.
What frame of mind are you in right now?
I'm in a great frame of mind. Like I said, I'm looking forward, working on getting better. and looking forward to tomorrow and see what tomorrow brings.
Josh, since you weren't able to be with the team since I guess the Super Bowl, how are you able to stay in football shape?
Just working out every day. Keeping my mental health in a good state. Just looking forward to the future. Just keeping myself in shape of running and working out.
What was I guess your workout setup at home?
I live on a farm at home, so I stay active when I'm at home. Maybe not necessarily lifting weights, but square bales and that kind of thing. Keep you in shape.
Josh, how tough was it?
Go ahead. So what if? Go ahead.
How tough was it not to be able to participate? Be with the team in the Super Bowl and the months that ensued after that?
It was very tough, but like I said, I would like to leave the past in the past and look forward to tomorrow and what the future brings.
Josh, what did it feel like to put the football pads back on and get back on the field?
It felt great. I was really looking forward to it. Like I said, I'm just grateful to be out here around my teammates, around the coaches, and this wonderful organization.
You feel you have to catch up from a football standpoint, or you feel you're there?
I have some catching up to do, but I'm looking forward to that. That's part of playing the football game that everybody chases of always trying to get better. So I'm really looking forward to that.
We know you have some versatility. Has there been a spot where they told you wanted to focus on during this training camp so far?
There has not. That's never really been a thing that someone has told me, if you need to focus on this position. It's always been you need to learn as much as possible and be able to play different positions. So that's what I'm looking forward to, and that's what I'm doing my best to do.
What have the last 48 hours been like for you?
It's been fun. It's been a good time. I'm glad to be back. Very appreciative of being back, and I'm just looking forward to tomorrow.
You mentioned the support from the team. Did you know you would have a spot here whenever things did wrap up?
I did not. That's something that I took day by day, and more importantly, I had to focus on clearing my name and going through the process that I went through, and I'm glad that throughout that process I was able to clear my name, and like I said, I'm just thankful that I'm back here.
What were the conversations like with guys like Nick Sirianni or Howie Roseman when you did find out you were coming back?
I didn't have any conversations with those guys. That was more between my attorneys and my agent and them, so I can't really speak on that.
But when you got back, what have your conversations been like with Nick since then?
They just said that they're glad to have me back, glad to see me around, and I just make sure to let them know that I'm beyond appreciative of them welcoming me back.
You mentioned you feel like you have some catching up to do. In what areas specifically, and who is helping you along?
Everybody can be in shape, but you're not necessarily in football shape until you actually get out here and start practicing, and you put pads on and running around. So that aspect, and just catching up on plays to make sure I can learn them, know them inside and out like the back of my hand, and taking it day by day, and get a little better each day.
Josh, what would you like the public to know about you?
What do you mean?
I mean that obviously this is in a high-profile situation, and people don't know you as well. What would you like them to know about you overall now that you have a chance to kind of speak to us?
I'd just like people to know that what you see is what you get. There's no smoke and mirrors. I am who I am, and like I said, I'm just beyond appreciative to be here. And thankful to have a great organization.
How has this changed you? Like what you went through and stuff.
I wouldn't say it's changed me. Like I just said, I am who I am, and that's who I'll always be. And that's how I was raised. That's how my parents raised me to be. What you see is what you get, and you are who you are.